it's going to seem kind of counterintuitive or like, ooh, are we really allowed to do that? Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a few tips on different things you can do to help you perform well under pressure. I know this is a really big challenge that a lot of dancers come to me to work on this, whether they want to resolve performance anxiety or self-doubt or issues trusting themselves, whatever it is that is holding them back from performing well under pressure. That's something that I love talking about and working with individually with my coaching clients. So I want to share with you just a few of the many different takeaways we can have on this topic just to get you started. And of course, if you want further help on resolving this, improving your mental health, building authentic confidence, and learning different performance psychology principles to really transform the way you're able to perform, then of course, click the link in my description to learn more about my coaching services. I'd love to talk to you about working together. So the first tip I have for you is to ask yourself, what are the outcomes that you're afraid of? Like when you find yourself getting tense and nervous and scared, actually ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Like, what do I think is going to happen? Are you afraid of a mistake? Are you afraid that someone won't like you or that you'll be judged or whatever it is? It's so important to look it straight in the face and be like, what am I afraid of? And then take that a step further and say, what do I think would happen after that? What, you would just feel disappointed? You'd just be upset? Okay, well, that's not always as bad as, the fear, the initial fear is making it seem. Or maybe it is, oh, I'm afraid. It does seem like a very legitimate and terrifying fear. Like, I'm afraid if I don't impress my director, I'll lose my contract. Okay, so keep playing that tape forward. Like, okay, what do I think will happen? What do I think will happen after that? Because then once you clear that out and you just focus on it for a second, then you could say, okay, even if that did happen, what would I do about it? Even if I did make the mistake, how do I want to respond to that? What can I learn from it? What will I do to help myself recover and move forward? Or even if the worst happens, what are the chances I'll actually be okay, even if I hate it and I don't like the outcome? Or what will I do to help myself in that situation? These are all different variations of the same line of thought, which is looking at your fear in the face and saying, what will I do about it if that did happen? And then step 3 is ask yourself, okay, how do I want to show up? How do I want to perform in this situation? Get clear on that, because if you just focus on, oh, I don't want to mess up, I don't want them to judge me, I don't want this to happen, then you're focusing all of your energy on the thing that you fear. And so you need to, yes, look at that, make a plan to allow your mind to settle and to trust, like, okay, we're going to be taken care of. It's okay. Because the function of fear and worry is self-protective. Your brain is trying to alert you of a potential threat, so you create a solution and keep yourself safe. So as soon as you do that little strategy that I mentioned, chances are your mind will settle a little bit. And then you can say, okay, how do I want to show up? How do I want to perform? What experience do I want to have? Get clear on what you want. And then just say, okay, what is one thing I can do to help myself experience that? That will help you to focus your mind on what you can do instead of just what you're afraid of, which is very, very settling. The second thing is, it's going to seem kind of counterintuitive or like, ooh, are we really allowed to do that? I talk about this a lot in our relationship with mistakes, but it's to actually surrender to imperfections and don't allow them to have so much power. Focus on what you'll do if they do happen. I think we just give so much power to mistakes, like, oh my gosh, if this happened, it would be so bad, and then they'll judge me, and then I'll get yelled at, and it's horrible, so bad, so bad, so bad. If we actually allow ourselves to just normalize that mistakes happen, and yes, we don't want to make them, and that's valid, but by surrendering and saying, like, it's normal if they do, I'm gonna live if I do. Imperfections are always going to be present. By just surrendering to that truth, you can then calm down enough to focus on how you do want to dance and what you will proactively do, even if you do slip up a little bit. Instead of just giving the mistake so much power, like, oh my gosh, if this happened, then it would just spiral out of control and the whole thing would be garbage. I used to do that. And that's why I was so anxious every time I would be in a performance situation, because in my mind, I was giving mistakes this power to completely ruin the whole thing. Imagine the performance is a white piece of paper. I was so afraid that there would be one black dot on it. And the black dot is a metaphor for a mistake. And as soon as one black dot gets on that paper, the whole paper is ruined. It's not perfectly white anymore. It's not good anymore. No one's gonna like it. They're gonna think I'm a bad dancer. See how absolute that thinking is? It's so black and white. It's so rigid that it would get me so focused on like, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up, that then I would mess up because that's all I was thinking about. I was so distracted. So instead, let's just accept that, again, going back to that metaphor, there are going to be a couple of black dots on your white sheet of paper. Okay, that's a show. But notice that with the 3 little black dots that might be on your white sheet of paper, what most people are going to be looking at, I dare say nearly all, they're going to be noticing all the rest of that white sheet of paper. Weird metaphor, but I hope you're tracking with me. But what we often focus on are the 3 black dots, and we think, ruined. Maybe it makes it interesting. Maybe it makes it interesting. What I'm saying here is just don't give the mistakes that much power. Focus on what you'll do to continue to produce a beautiful result after the mistake, and just allow, to an extent, those imperfections to be there. It doesn't mean you don't try as hard. It just means you embrace like it happens so that you can relax and then focus on the job at hand. Hey there, I hope you're really enjoying this video, but I just need to ask you something really quick. Is self-doubt really just sucking the joy out of dancing for you? Is being in your head and being self-critical and not feeling good enough, like even if you look fine on the outside and you know you're just plowing along, is that affecting your ability to perform and enjoy dance while you're at it? If those mental struggles sound familiar, or others like performance anxiety, perfectionism, comparing yourself to other dancers, any of those things, if those are impacting your ability to perform your best and feel your best consistently, then you don't have to keep struggling. I'm so passionate about this, and I want to talk to you about the Confident Dancer Coaching Program. This is a coaching program that focuses on the mental side of dance, where you and I can work together individually to truly help you to build the belief in yourself, let go of all the negative programming in your mind that's impacting your ability to perform in your experience, and help you truly build the confidence to thrive as a dancer and fulfill your personal potential. If that's something that you want, you can click the link in my description box to visit kirstenkemp.com, learn more about the Confident Dancer Coaching Program, what it includes, how it works, read incredible testimonials from past clients who've worked with me, and schedule a free 30-minute consultation where you and I can connect, talk about your goals and challenges, absolutely no strings attached, and just see if working together would be a great fit for you and your goals. If that's something you're interested in, definitely take advantage of that free consultation. Give yourself a chance to truly thrive as a dancer, and I hope to talk to you soon. And that is all I have to say. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Let's move on with it. The next tip is to reframe nervousness or anxiety. What I mean by this is oftentimes we have this meaning attached to nervousness or anxiety that when you feel it, we start to think, oh no, this means I'm going to do a bad job. And then the nerves and the anxiety starts to increase. It creates this snowball effect. I used to experience that all the time. I'd be like, oh no, it's starting. Oh no, that means it's going to be bad. Oh, I'm getting out of control. Oh. But when I just started to normalize that it's okay to feel nervous, and I started to say, okay, how can I dance with the nerves? Instead of assuming that I need to have no nervousness or anxiety at all in order to have a successful performance. And obviously this can apply to class or rehearsals, auditions, whatever. A performance situation could be more than just dancing on stage. But by allowing and normalizing nervousness and saying, I am just feeling like jitters in my body, instead of even labeling it as, I am so nervous, I'm so anxious. Okay, I feel the sensation in my body. I'm going to dance with it. I'm going to allow it to be there. Or starting to reframe what it means. Like, it can mean that you really care, that your body is, pumping adrenaline into your system to prepare you for this big push of energy. You get to decide what it means, and what it means in your mind is going to really influence the experience you have. The next tip is to trust that one mistake does not have the power to completely blind everyone to your potential. Again, I've noticed this very, very absolute thinking. I used to have it too, where us dancers can be like, oh, I hope I don't mess up, because if I make this mistake, people are going to think I'm not a good dancer, or they're going to judge me in some way. I get it. Sometimes mistakes can make an impression that's not great. But I think as dancers, we tend to really overestimate how much power like a few little mistakes have to form an entire impression. Again, since we're in our own bodies, we're living the experience physically of the mistake, and we're also just thinking about ourselves and trying to protect and promote ourselves, we tend to take everything so personally, and the mistakes feel like a way bigger deal than they actually are. It's visible. I'm not going to say people don't see it or it doesn't matter, especially in the ballet world. It does matter. I totally get that. But these mistakes, they don't truly have the power to like completely blind a person to all the other things you do well. I have been able to see dancers who I can tell, like I haven't really watched them dance before, I can tell they have a ton of potential and they're generally very good. They're just having an off day. I can tell. And I'm not like, oh my gosh, you're such a bad dancer doing my step. I know that people have off days. People generally understand. I know there are some bad apples. There are some unreasonable bad apples out there in the dance world. I know I've worked with several of them. But in general, people tend to be able to see and remember the things that you've done well. So just remember that, and also give yourself the benefit of the doubt that there are things you're doing well that you're not fully seeing. So start to look for the things that you're doing well, that just because you're in your own body, you might not be able to fully appreciate unless you put your attention towards it. The last tip I have for you is to get in touch with your body instead of allowing yourself to be completely in your head. Now, there are a lot of reasons why we get in our heads. It's something I work on a lot with dancers that I coach as a mindset coach. But I will say generally, getting in touch with like how your body feels, like your sensory awareness, instead of just putting all your awareness on your thoughts, that can really help you to be calm and settled. You can also use a tool called peripheral vision, where you allow yourself to like open your eyes and notice what's in your periphery. That naturally gets you into a calmer state of being and mind. It calms your nervous system, and it naturally fills your awareness with the bigger picture of what's going on around you, so that your awareness is naturally not able to stay fixated on all your internal thoughts, which can naturally pull you into what's called foveal vision, which is like this narrow vision. I notice a lot of times when dancers are in their head, I can see it happening because their eyes are down. Your body language pretty much always reflects your internal state. So you can use it as a hack, actually. Expand your body language, open your eyes out here, and that can also influence your internal state. So dancers, I hope that you really enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And also let me know in the comments which tip you're most excited to put into action. I'll see you in next week's video. Bye.